Hello, it is I, Qimsar, aka Simon Cromwell. I just wanted to say that the RIP Tentacion thing, front of the camera, that was a joke. You know, in the first release, the version 0.9, I know a couple people complained about the RIP Tentacion thing being there, and how that had no place. But this placement was just a joke. I'm just memeing you all. Don't take offense to it or don't take it seriously. But in addition to this version 0.9.2, I think is what I'm going to call it. This is another playtest. However, no animation still exists for it, so that means there's pretty much no other added gameplay things, but I made a lot of quality of life improvements to get ready for the gameplay. So this doesn't add anything super significant. It's all just visual stuff, mostly, but still. It's an improvement nonetheless. So if you want to playtest this, be my guest. But let it be known that this is not finished and this is not recommended for people who have never experienced PT before and they want this to be their first experience, because this is still not finished. Thank you, children. Hey, what's up? It's me again, your boy. I wanted to say thank you for listening, and I would really appreciate it if you didn't leave. I will try to not make this... Wait, let me repeat that. Let me retry, I will try to not make this super long, like the original monologue was at the end of version 0.9, being 25 minutes in girth. I'll try to definitely make this shorter. So,
This brutal killing took place while the family was gathered at home on a Sunday afternoon. The day of the crime, the father went to the trunk of his car, retrieved the rifle, and shot his wife as she was cleaning up the kitchen after lunch. When his 10-year-old son came to investigate the commotion, the father shot him too. His 6-year-old daughter had the good sense to hide in the bathroom, but reports suggest he lured her out by telling her it was just a game. The girl was found shot once in the chest from point-blank range. The mother, who he shot in the stomach, was pregnant at the time. Police arriving on scene after neighbors called 911 found the father in his car listening to the radio. Several days before the murders, neighbors say they heard the father repeating a sequence of numbers in a loud voice. They said it was like he was chanting some strange spell. There was another family shot to death in the same state last month, and in December last year, a man used a rifle and meat cleaver to murder his entire family. In each case, the perpetrators were fathers. State police say this string of domestic homicides appears unrelated, though it could be part of a larger trend such as employment, child care, and other social issues facing the average family.
Store 2 days earlier. This brutal killing took place while the family was gathered at home on a Sunday afternoon. Don't touch that dial now, we're just getting started. Retrieved the rifle and shot his wife as she was cleaning up the kitchen after you can't trust the tap water. Both son came to investigate the commotion. The father shot him too. His 6-year-old daughter had the good sense to hide in the bathroom, but reports suggest he lured her out by telling her it was just a game. The girl was found shot once in the chest from point-blank range. The mother, who was shot in the stomach, was 204-863. Seen after neighbors called 911, found the father in his car listening to the radio. Several days before the murders, look behind you. I said, look behind you, like he was chanting some strange spell. There was another family shot to death in the same state last month, and in December last year, a man used a rifle and meat cleaver to murder his entire family. In each case, the perpetrators were fathers. State police say this string of domestic homicides appears under 204-863. Child care and other social issues facing the average family. Purchased the rifle used in the crime at his local gun store 2 days earlier. This brutal killing took place while the family was gathered at home on a Sunday afternoon. Don't touch that dial now. Purchased the rifle used in the crime at his local gun store 2 days earlier. This brutal killing took place while the family was gathered at home on a Sunday afternoon. Don't touch that dial now, we're just getting started. Retrieved the rifle and shot his wife as she was cleaning up the kitchen after you can't trust the tap water. Both son came to investigate the commotion. The father shot him too. His 6-year-old daughter had the good sense to
killing his family, the father hung himself with a garden hose they had in the garage.
Kan du höra din egen själs skrik? Låt oss välja. Min röst som förtäljer framtiden eller dina plågade ord. Nå, vad väljer du? Du kan välja. Ditt liv, din framtid. Klok som du är, så kanske du redan upptäckte. Ja, radiodramat från 75 år sedan var sanning. De är här på vår. Och de övervakar och ser allt. Lita ej på mig. Lita ej på polisen. De är redan kontrollerade av dem. Så har det varit i 75 år nu. Endast vår mästare kan hålla honom. Du har en rätt. En rätt att bli en av oss. Så välkommen till vår värld. Mycket snart öppnas portarna till en ny dimension. 204863. 204863.
Now's the time for action. Our society is rotten to the core. I'm talking while the fine, upstanding folks got their welfare cut, got their jobs pulled out from under us. You know what to do. Now's the time. Do it.
You got fired, so you drowned your sorrows in booze. She had to get a part-time job working a grocery store cash register. Only reason she could earn a wage at all is the manager liked how she looked in a skirt. You remember, right? Exactly 10 months back.
Two 204863. 204863. 204863. 204863. 204863. 204863. I walked. I could do nothing but walk. And then I saw me walking in front of myself. But it wasn't really me. Watch out. The gap in the door. It's a separate reality. The only me is me. Are you sure the only you is you?
You've been chosen.
Dad was such a drag. Every day he'd eat the same kind of food, dress the same, sit in front of the same kind of games. Yeah, he was just that kind of guy. But then one day he goes and kills us all. He couldn't even be original about the way he did it. I'm not complaining. I was dying of boredom anyway. But guess what? I will be coming back, and I'm bringing my new toys with me.
Hey, we back up in here with another ending monologue, yo. So, here's something really cute. My main man, his name is The Noid Man on twitch.tv. Alright, THENOIDMAN on twitch.tv, right? He hit me up after beating the game, like right after version 0.9 came out. He said, your monologue was really long-winded and overall incredibly painful to listen to. Like, right, like I get the feedback, you know, like it probably was really hard to listen to, but I thought it was really funny, like actually. Like I was having a really funny time reading that. Hold up, wait. Alright. He also gave me this cute little list of things I should talk about. He said I should write it out first, but well, you know, that ship has sailed, buddy, so, you know. He said 1, my introduction, name, username, social media channels. Okay, hold up. So, yeah, my name is Simon Cromwell, aka Qimsar on most of my social media things. I am the creator of this remake, this PT for PC remake in Unreal Engine 4. I think I'll make another monologue every update that I release, I don't know. So, get ready for that, I guess. Let me see. So, I got a YouTube at youtube.com/flyinglaptop. I think I should change my URL for my YouTube, but it's whatever. youtube.com/flyinglaptop, FLYINGLAPTOP. You feel me? And then I have a Twitch at twitch.tv/CromwellSimon. CROMWELLSIMON. My Twitter is at Qimsar, QIMSAR, not to be confused with Keemstar, that's a different dude. Hold up. I have a PayPal at paypal.me/Qimsar, QIMSAR, not to be confused with Keemstar. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/QIMSAR, not to be confused with Keemstar. That's a different dude. Okay, hold up. Alright, so that was the end of the little first point that the Noid Man gave me. And then the second point was, why did you put it together? Well, I put it together, I guess, initially as I was learning how to do game development stuff, like earlier this year, a few months back, in February, IGN released the world record speedrun or something for PT, and I saw that and I was like, I know that a couple of other remake attempts have come out for PT, and so I want to try it, but I actually want my ports, my remake slash port, whatever you want to call it, to be fully playable. And so that's what I did, or that's what I'm doing right now, I guess. Still need the animations for it to be called a port, I guess, like a port would signify that it's the exact same. And for the most part, it's exactly the same, except for the few missing gameplay things that I have missing still, but I require the animations for those. And so hopefully they will arrive within the end of the weekend. That would make me really, really happy. But anyways, yeah, I kind of just wanted to be the first one to actually finish a remake of PT. Especially as like my first project, I thought that would be really cool. With me having a very minimal amount of experience to work on PT, like out of the gates. And turns out my project has been pretty good for only 37 days. It's currently, well, wait, no, I'm going to say 36 days. It's July 7th, 2018, but it's 4:30 a.m. because I'm a cool guy and I stay up late. So, yeah, in like 36 days, with this being my very first project, we're already at game is pubic length away from completion. Here's something else, dude. I'm really surprised that, like, I think GameSpot was saying this in their thing. I'm not really sure. They quoted me when I said, like, the game was a pubic length away from being done. I really thought they would have censored that. And then PC Gamer said, they quoted me whenever I said that my animations were ghetto, which I thought was really cute. Okay, I think that's it for the second point. Why I put it together was just because I've seen a lot of other PT remakes fall, and I wanted to have a stab at it of my own in order to remake the game for those who have never played it or seen it before, or I guess never played it, but whatever, you feel me? 3, how did I do it? Is the third point that he said I should do. So, I used Unreal Engine 4, right? As you all may have saw. I'm busted, bro, my bad. As you all may have seen from the first wall or whatever, if you look to the right, it says I use the Unreal Engine 4. And it also says 6 hours underneath that. Now, I have a lot more experience in Unity, or I had a lot more experience in Unity whenever I started. Now I have more experience with Unreal Engine. I think I'm up to like, I want to say like 185 hours of experience in UE4. Like, I started with 6 whenever I began the project. Now I'm up at like 185. That sounds like a pretty accurate estimate. I'm not really sure. But with Unity, whenever I started this project, I think I was at like 35, 40 hours, something along those lines, right? But I just kind of preferred the Unreal Engine, right? Like, I think the Unity engine is definitely easier to get into, but once you get into more advanced stuff, the Unity engine is harder to do that advanced stuff with. Unreal Engine is harder to get into, but it's easier to do the harder stuff, you feel me? And since, I figured I had a little bit of experience with Unity So I guess that means I could get into the let me try that again. I had a little bit of experience with the Unity engine, so I figured that I could move over to the Unreal engine and do this. And for the most part, I have done this, so that's pretty cool. So I'm also going to give a little bit of a backstory on how exactly I did, or how I started game development stuff. Hold up, I'm scrolling through. Alright, so I'm gonna read off this DM that I gave to some other dude for a project or whatever. So my experience with game development started when I was snowed in for a week of school. I'm 17, by the way, is what I put in parentheses. Back in early February. I was really bored during that point. I had video games, but my... Wait. Okay, that's awkward. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have included this part. Oh. Alright, well, I'll be sure to get... Okay, I just cut out some of my voice. I just had a really big goof in my reading, so yeah, I'm just gonna improv this again. It's whatever. So yeah, I started whenever I was snowed in for a week of school back in early February, late January, something like that, right? And I was really bored, so I just kind of chose to begin doing game development stuff, right? And so I used my dad's Pluralsight account, which is a course site, which is actually kind of expensive, I think. I'm not really sure how the prices compare to other things, but it's definitely more expensive than using Udemy. Maybe. I'm actually really not sure now that I think about it, but it's whatever. So I used my dad's Pluralsight account to watch a little bit of Unity stuff, a little bit of Unreal Engine stuff, very small amount of Game Maker Studio, very small amount of CryEngine, and then I kept watching more Unity stuff and more Unity stuff, and for whatever reason I kind of just chose to start this remake project using Unreal Engine, even though I didn't have the same amount of experience as I did for Unity, which, if my math is correct, I had like 6 times more experience with Unity based on time than I did with Unreal Engine, but you know, it's whatever. I watched a few Unreal Engine courses back in February, maybe early March, I'm not sure. Added up to 6 hours, you feel, as I've been saying. And that was my only experience with it up until now. And so I ended up forgetting how to do a pretty large amount of things on my first 2 days. I had to relearn the controls and everything because I just forgot everything, you feel. But I ended up getting back into the hang of everything. And I was zooming progress-wise, bro, for real. I was just blasting through. And so that was pretty lit. Hold up, let me take a look at this message again. The little list of things I should talk about. So yeah, I want to give a shout outs. I want to give some shout outs to people that were able to help in, I guess, any way, shape, or form. Right, I put in the beginning wall, I didn't really specify why they're getting shout outs, so I'm going to do that now. Special thanks to donated nearly all of the textures from the original game. So that's what I use for the most part. Special thanks to White End. That's really awkward. I actually don't remember what. Oh wait, White End. I used his refrigerator model from Sketchfab or something, but in this version I'm not using it. Whatever, I'll give him a shout out anyways, it's fine. Shout out to Smoggy Chips. Smoggy Chips started his own remake project earlier this year, I think, but that was also abandoned, or it was started late last year. It was abandoned early this year, and whenever he abandoned it, he was kind enough to donate all of his, like, everything he used just in a Reddit post. And so he was my source for 3D models, right? Double Snake 88 was my source for textures. Smoggy Chips was my source for models, right? Shout out to ID Damon. He did animation work for PT. He hasn't actually given any of the animations. Like, he said he would give it if me and my boy Frisky Noodle, who I'm about to shout out shortly, could give him like the original PlayStation files, but I don't have a modded PS4 or anything. I'm not the one. I haven't data mined any assets whatsoever, you feel? So I don't know, I just couldn't. So I gave him a shout out regardless. I don't know. Shout out to Frisky Noodle. He volunteered to help with the VR, which VR hasn't been implemented yet, but it's whatever. I told him that I could do it, but he insisted, and so he's currently doing the VR stuff, and he should get back to me eventually. I don't know when, but he said he also wanted to help with the animations, so I'm letting him do that too. So shout out to him for VR help and animation help, just like ID Damon. Shout out to him for animation help. Shout out to Hitman X for sale. He gave a lot of feedback. I mean, a lot of you gave a lot of feedback. And so on the to-do list, I have your names, or most of your names, put up like in parentheses next to the thing. If I missed you on any of the feedback, hit me up, I guess, and I'll add it. And I guess in version 1.0, I'll do a big boy shout out to everyone who gave all the feedback. Shout out to LukeSox005. I actually forgot to put one of the zeros in the last build. That's really embarrassing. So LukeSox005, he was on the Face Punch forums, and he donated almost all of the sounds for the game. So shout out to him. Shout out to Linus Pixel. She is also supposed to be donating animations, because she was a data miner, and so still crossing my fingers that she does. Maybe by the time I upload this version 0.9.2, that'll be done, but I'm not sure. Shout out to Buzzoo2. He is working on his own remake right now. He started like as soon as I put up my announcement thing on Reddit that I was making my remake, and Buzzoo2 has helped me with stuff. I have to help. He's helped me with a few models. He helped with the bag in version 0.9, and he helped with a few implementation ideas, like with depth of field. Like, I did it on my own, but I compared it with his to make sure it was right. You feel like he also helped me with the flashlight sway and also oh yeah, he helped with the basement. That's a big one. Yeah, he helped with the basement, so that's really cool. Shout out to the Black. The Black gave me like, he gave me the refrigerator model, he gave me the refrigerator textures, and he gave me most of the other assets that I was missing. He also gave me the walls for the basement. I'm still using Buzzu 2's basement floor because it looks better. But yeah, the Black gave me a lot of textures I was missing. And hopefully tomorrow, as the time, or as of recording this, he'll give the baby texture, which will be nice. Shout out to Konami and Kojima Productions for really obvious reasons. So, yeah. That's my shout out maneuver, which means... Oh crap, that means I still have 3 more points left on the list and we're 20 minutes in. Oh boy, I'm gonna try zooming. 4. Something about the process that made you better. I think he means better as a programmer. Or not a programmer, but a game developer. I would say everything. Like, this started off as a learning experience, the PT remake thing, and then after I released the Reddit thing, it grew a significant amount. Thank you to all the articles that wrote to me, and thank you to Sony or Konami. I don't know which one of you owns it. Thank you for not taking any legal action. I really, really appreciate that. But yeah, this entire thing was a giant learning experience for me, if that's what you mean. 5, Patreon/donation/visibility. I don't know what visibility means, but I already gave my Patreon a donation. So my PayPal is paypal.me/Qimsar, Qimsar. My Patreon is PayPal. My Patreon is not PayPal. That's embarrassing. My Patreon is patreon.com/Qimsar, Qimsar, not to be confused with Keemstar. Dude. Alright, and then number 6 was an outro and a thanks. I like how right below it you said make sure everything is on point and straight to the point. You can add humor in if you want, but be very clear about each point. The longer it is, the more informative it must be, but remember, people lack attention the longer it goes. Oh my gosh, I don't want to record crap, I don't want to re-record this though, so I mean, you know, I'd say it's an improvement over the first one. The mic quality is definitely an improvement, so that's all that matters. I recorded the first one on my phone using my earbuds while I was on vacation. This one I'm recording on my Turtle Beach Recon 60Ps in the comfort of my own home, so that's nice. Okay, so yeah, thank you everyone for playing, and if you're still listening, thank you. If you are still listening, say you're a cool guy in chat. In any chat, like please don't email me. Hit me up in any way apart from email, unless if you really want to. I guess you could, but that's not preferred. Yeah, hit me up in any way saying you're a cool guy. Can put in the comments or something, and that will let me know that you all listen. But thank you all for playing my remake, and be sure to give feedback. However, make sure the feedback hasn't already been addressed in my to-do list, because oh my nut, I got a very girthy amount of duplicate feedback for version 0.9. But that was my fault because I didn't put up a to-do list in the very beginning, like right after release. So that was on me. But, you know, this time I'm trying to not make the same mistake again. So I'm putting up the to-do list with the upload, as opposed to making it 3 days after my initial upload. So yeah, thank you all for playing it, and yeah, I don't think there's anything else that I want to say. I'm about to reach 25 minutes, but I'll try to make it. I'll make it slightly shorter than that. So I'm gonna head off. So see you all later. Wait, actually, yeah, see you all later. Yeet. Hey, what's up? It's me again, your boy. I wanted to say thank you for listening, and I would really appreciate it if you didn't leave. I will try to not make this. Wait, let me repeat that. Let me retry. I will try to not make this super long, like the original monologue was at the end of version 0.9, being 25 minutes in girth. I'll try to definitely make this shorter. So, yeah, this is mostly a quality of life improvement update. No major gameplay additions have been added. However, a lot of things have been added still to make the game just feel more like the original, you feel? And as y'all can tell, like, the roaches aren't done, the rain on the windows isn't done, the VR still doesn't work. I don't know how you're playing with VR whenever the VR doesn't work. I guess you can ask my main man, what's his name? Hold up, let me double check this. My main man, Poised. Somehow he got the game to work with VR. I don't know what he did, but whatever. So, something I did with this update that will hopefully prove very beneficial is I'll actually have a to-do list at the time of release of this update. For version 0.9, I had a to-do list, but it was private, right? Until like 3 days later, whenever some dude asked me if I had a to-do list, and I was like, oh, true? Yeah, I'm gonna get on that real quick. Hold up, buddy. So, with this update, I actually have the to-do list, like, out. You feel it's just a Google Doc that anyone can view. And so, whenever you're sending feedback, I would recommend that you take a look at the to-do list first. See if it's on there. If it's not on to-do... Crap, bro, I can't talk. My bad. If it's not on the to-do list, check the done list, which should be like the next page, right? And if you don't see that it's on there either, then you can hit me up, you feel me, with the feedback or whatever. But I got a pretty girthy amount of feedback on the last thing. There shouldn't be too much that can be added, except for obviously spoiler alerts, the attacks, right? And spoiler alerts. You feel the other gameplay stuff hasn't been implemented because I don't have the animations, and while it'd be possible to test it without the animations, once I put the animations in, I would have to change how a lot of stuff works. So, I mean, I could add it right now, but it would be animationless. And adding sorry, bro, gotta clear my throat. Alright, we in here, gang. But adding the animations after programming in the gameplay doesn't entirely work without flaws. So I'm fairly certain that it would be better to get the animations in and then I can program the gameplay, which hopefully the animations will be in shortly. I can't give an estimate because I just don't know, but if I could guess, hopefully by the end of the weekend, crossing my fingers, a pretty girthy amount right now. But yeah, check out the to-do list for when you're about to give feedback or whatever. And that's really all I have to say, I think. Let me double check. Yeah, that should be it. So, I guess if you want to, go ahead and walk through the door and leave. I will turn off this recording in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you. Hey, what's up? It's me again, your boy. I wanted to say thank you for listening, and I would really appreciate it if you didn't leave. I will try to not